Don't you just wish sometimes fantasy items were real? I
Yeah.
just got a new sword. Imagine if this glowed blue and talked to me and, had all sorts of magic properties instead of just being a piece of metal.
Be cool.
It'd be very cool. Today, we're going to talk about some specific items from fantasy that, man, we wish they were real. That could be fun. Could also be really bad. Let's get into it.
Hi there. Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where father and son sit down and talk about fantasy or other things. I'm the son of that equation, Zach.
And I'm the father, Jim. Thanks for joining us today as we talk about some fantasy items we wish were real. We're bringing a top 10 list to you, but it's not ranked. It's just 10 items from various fantasy intellectual properties that it could be really cool if they were actual items we could acquire. We hope you enjoy this list and you'll give us a like for the episode and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. We'll also be interested in your thoughts on the 10 things we bring here today, so let us know in the comments. What do you think? And of course, if there's items we don't mention that you'd want to have be real, add those to the comments too.
And notably, as a quick disclaimer, there's more than 10 things that we probably wish were real.
Oh, yeah.
And there's more than 10 things within the realm of what we read, sci-fi, fantasy, horror, that we wish were real. So we're trying to limit ourselves to fantasy, and to a large extent, most of the time, really staying a little bit away from like weaponry. Because while cool, we don't really need them.
No.
I don't need a shard blade.
We were thinking broader. I mean, there are weapons on this list,
Yeah,
but they're not the majority.
no.
There's some really cool things. It would be fun to have. But with fantasy items, if you have it as real, there's often a catch. There's issues with fantasy items too. So if you're gonna have it real, you'd have to be ready to accept the challenge with it too.
Bring your logic into this.
Yeah, we're going there. And this applies with the first one. We're gonna go back and forth on introducing these. So I'll do the odds and he gets to do the evens. I pointed the wrong way. Number 1 on this list is the One Ring from the Lord of the Rings. I mean, think of what you could have if it was real. Invisibility, some enhancements over your... Look, you've got the ring right there.
I had to stop a moment ago to find this because I had it. I was like, it's not real. It doesn't work.
It's imbued with Sauron's power. So if you were masterful enough to control that, it gives you control over others and those who have the rings. But of course, that would slowly probably prove that you're not strong enough. It would corrupt you. You turn into a power-hungry wraith, and your soul is bound to Sauron for the rest of time. That is a bit of a downside.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think most of my reasons for wanting the ring would not be utilizing it to its highest potential.
You just want to go invisible.
And there's better things that aren't quite so evil to do that. So maybe I'm okay leaving this one alone, but still would be cool.
How about the second thing? It's more of a category than an exact thing.
Category, we're going to bring in portal technology, like things that transport you through space. Think like your waystones or even way gates to a certain extent, Wheel of Time.
Stargates.
Various objects that will take you from point A to point B. Port keys in Harry Potter. Just because look, I enjoy my car. I enjoy my time to audiobook. Would I prefer to sleep a little bit longer and then just show up at work? Or better yet, show up across the world for a cup of coffee in another country? Sure.
All the places around the world I'd enjoy visiting if I could just be there. That would be very cool. There is a catch, though, in a lot of these fantasy and even sci-fi works that have portal technology. It doesn't always send you where you want to go.
Not to mention we get into the physics and the problems of like, are we reconstituting atoms? Are we getting something funky? Is this even possible?
Enterprise transporters,
And then let's go extra complicated in there and go, hey, Wheel of Time, those portal stones, when do you want to arrive?
Right, right. And then there's also the fact that you can't always know what conditions will be like when you get there, because you're just suddenly there. You could be suddenly there, surrounded by all sorts of zombies. You don't know. Could be
Now,
rather
if we're
dangerous.
just getting the portal technology in our world and everything else is staying our world, is still a little potentially dangerous. It's better. We could look up what the weather's going to be like. But it might depend on where the portal actually is, as to like, is this street abandoned, or are you going to be stumbling into the middle of a bar fight? Like, what's going on?
If it was real and I could have it, I just want the bugs to be worked out. That's all I'd really ask.
Yeah. You should talk to Apple. I hear they are working on their teleporter.
Our third one on the list is a time turner from Harry Potter. Who wouldn't want more time in their day so you can read all those books that are waiting for you, or you missed something, you can go back in time to catch it. Time turner, man.
Who hasn't had the experience of working up to the last minute on something and then maybe getting it done, but not having had time to eat, to take a moment?
30 more minutes.
The ability to, hey, you needed to cram and get this in, but also you need to sleep. And it's like, hey, I stayed up real late last night finishing this book, but I have work in the morning and suddenly I have to be up in an hour. Well, what if I just rewound things a little bit
and go to bed
and just slept?
Yeah. Smooth move. Now, there is a catch with the time turner, of course. Couple catches. You can't actually change things, because that would cause a paradox. If you had actually changed something, well, that means it was always changed. So when you turn back time, it has to be for the right reasons, because if you think you're going to go back and stop that horrible thing from happening, you're not going to do that. It won't.
You see a solid outcome, it's not changeable.
Yep. The other thing, of course, is turning back time doesn't stop you from going through the time. So, like, if you're using it constantly, you're like doubling, tripling up the time each day is taking from your life. You're gonna get old seemingly faster. You're really living all that time, but you need to understand that's a consequence. Unless you have something extending your life.
Exactly, but that requires us to have other, maybe, magic items that maybe we'll get to later. My big takeaway on a time turner is I would enjoy it, and I think it would help a lot of ADHD individuals. But it isn't necessarily for everybody.
What's another one, Zach?
Another one, we're getting into something that I could take or leave, but so many people would love this so much. And it's a cloak of levitation. People want to fly. It's one of the most common superpowers that when people ask, what do you want? They would be like, flight. I want to fly. But
the cloak of levitation, though, the specific one you're talking from Doctor Strange, Marvel Comics, it's more than flight.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing has a mind of its own.
And that comes with many benefits. It can protect you. It can do a lot of good things. It can come get you, pick you up. It's like an Uber. But
it has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
It may not do what you want because it might decide it's more important to do something else.
Including, like, it totally could decide mid-flight to leave. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Let's hope. So I want the better benefits of it and, not the side catch issues, but yeah, get what you get if you want the real thing. Number 5 on the list is one from a series that I really don't enjoy. I've tried, but I have read 3 books and I have this thing from it because of what I've read. And that's The Luggage from the Discworld series by Sir Terry Pratchett. I mean, The Luggage, this sentient, nigh indestructible suitcase that follows you everywhere and actually will protect you quite fiercely. It's like your loyal dog.
But just a little guy
inside. It's amazing. One of the best things in the books I did read. The downside is it will occasionally eat people who annoy it.
I'll tell you this. You're never going to have to check that carry-on.
No. No, you will not.
If there's not space for it, it'll eat somebody.
It'll make the space. It's one of the funnier aspects of the books from Discworld that I read. I enjoyed the luggage. I'd
This
take
is
that.
this is one that I'm down to have because it's silly. Like, does it actually serve that good of a functional use for me? Probably not.
You can put a lot inside.
And that's nice. Mary Poppins' ability is powerful, and so that part of it is good. As long as it's mine and it's loyal to me, eating other people, we're good. If it decides it wants to eat me,
Yeah.
we might have to look into different storage solutions. Let's move on to another one here. Different category of object, something that I don't need all the time, don't need every day, but I think would be a really fun, useful item to have in specific scenarios. And I think, for me, in sillier scenarios than most, the Horn of Valir.
Ah, from the Wheel of Time. Yes.
Summons these legendary heroes. They come from the past. They're fighting on my side.
I think at times I was bullied in high school. That would have been useful.
For me, I think it'd just be really fun to like field out my all-star team for why not have the heroes of the past be my point guard? Like, I think it's silly and fun. I want to really beat those kids in laser tag.
They might be, the heroes, might be a little judgy, of course. Really? You called us for this?
Maybe, but also, like, maybe eventually we get to have a nice, fun relationship about it. And
Maybe they get a little hip about it. Hey, what are we doing this time? Yeah. There is a catch to the Horn of Valir, and that's it only works for its true owner. So if you have it, hopefully you are the one who was worthy. You are the true owner.
Well, there's a couple other catches, maybe too, but like, we'll leave those for reading the Wheel of Time.
There you go. All right, number 7, little deeper pull. Not everybody's going to be familiar with Dragnipur. This is a very special sword. So this one is a weapon from Malazan Book of the Fallen, but it's not just your average weapon. It is a very significant, massive sword that if you're struck with this sword, it traps you, your very essence, your soul, in another dimension. Okay, you are dead here, but you're still alive and suffering in this incredibly dark experience forever. Wow. This is the kind of weapon where if you got people who've really ticked you off and you want them to pay, it'd be nice to have Dragnipur.
Hear me out. I want this. I don't want it for people. I want it for pest control.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, I feel you there. See, the catch to Dragnipur is what you have done to the people that you've taken out with this sword. And they are suffering forever, and that's on you. And that could wear you down over time. But if it's just cockroaches and rats,
cockroaches,
I'd be feeling too bad about that.
The odd snake that was way too close to children.
I like snakes.
It's a good boop noodle, but it's also a danger noodle. And it could have killed people.
Oh, sheesh. So, Dragnipur, the new exterminator. Wow.
It's the bug zapper from hell.
All right, we have a fun one next. Explain number 8, Zach.
Number 8 is one of my favorite items in Dungeons and Dragons to ever exist. It is the Deck of Many Things. This would be a bad item to have to actually pull from, but oh, would it be fun.
Really
anytime it shows up,
possibly.
Whether I give it to players or it shows up when I'm a player, you gotta pull from it. Like, you know it's gonna go badly, even though it could go amazing, but you gotta. It's just so fun to embrace that chaos.
So there are people watching this who may not know what the Deck of Many Things is. Explain.
True. Deck of Many Things, it's a deck of cards, basically. And you declare how many cards you're going to pull, and then you have to pull that many. And they do random, wild effects based upon what those cards are. Anything from you suddenly owning a keep somewhere in the world and having all the correct deeds and titles, to you lose every worldly possession you own. Every cent
it's just-
drains out of your bank account. Everything in your name disappears. It's just, you've got nothing.
It's just instantaneous. There's no take backs.
Yeah.
Bam.
You could get some wishes that will magically be huge effects, or you could get an avatar of death that shows up and will kill you.
Yeah. So suddenly you could have immense, unbelievable power, or the card could be insta-death.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's really good and really bad things, and not a whole lot of in between. Which
There's
just
no
makes it
lukewarm
fun.
effects. It's
Not
all
like there's
or
a
nothing.
couple, but part of that is how you run the game. In real life, I don't think there's any lukewarm effects. It's all pretty bad.
So wow. To have the chance to have the deck of many things. The more I think about this, I'm not sure I would want this.
Now, true to canon kind of stuff, once you've used a card, it typically disappears. You can't pull that same card twice, kind of thing. I often run that it is there, but no one person can pull multiple things, kind of thing. So if I just had it, I think it would be really fun to go around offering people to pull a card. I mean, just think of how cool of a bar trick that is to be like, all right, pick a card, any card. And maybe they win the lottery. There is the chance that they die, and that is on you. That is your fault. You can't just blame the cards.
Whoops, my bad. Sorry. All right, number 9 on the list, Nightblood.
Yay!
First met in Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, but Nightblood appears in other places in the Cosmere as well. A sentient, soul-consuming sword that can cut through anything. It's an amazing weapon, but it does have that kind of vague side effect that as you're using it, it might start consuming you. You know,
not to mention the drawback that it does its job maybe a little too well.
Destroy evil.
Yeah, and that sometimes means that you just stumbling upon it means a lot of people, including yourself, are now dead. I love this item. I'd love to have it just chat.
It's sentient enough it can have a conversation with you.
I think I'd read to Nightblood. I think that would be really good. Tell it stories.
Nightblood, I just sense Nightblood is snarky.
It's snarky, but it also it reminds me of a dog. And I love a dog.
Can we kill now? Can we kill now? Can we kill now?
But I have a heart of gold. And I'm still terrified about what would happen if I picked up Nightblood fully sheathed. So I'm good not testing that theory.
Nightblood, in a grim dark novel, causes all the pages in the second half of the book to disappear.
Just the second half?
Well, it takes a little while for it to determine. Yeah. All right. Number 10. The last item that I came up with for this list is the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone, depending on how you want to talk about it, but it's really the Philosopher's Stone, which is a thing from various myths, but J.K. Rowling put it into the Harry Potter series. Why would we want the Philosopher's Stone? Well, it grants immortality and the ability to have unlimited gold. So you're going to live forever and never run out of
filthy rich
money. You know, the catch is that immortality for the typical person can get old. So it might not be all you're thinking. It might not be quite what it's cracked up to be, you know.
Now, for me, the Philosopher's Stone is kind of the best of both worlds when it comes to immortality. It's not like it makes you super, super young and perfect forever. No, it's not that form of best of both worlds.
Right.
But it's best of both worlds in that, A, your immortality needs to be maintained. This is something that you do have to every now and then renew it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you decide you're done with it and you're good, you're okay moving on, you can stop.
Yep.
You can choose to be
it's
okay
truly not a
passing
curse.
on and dying now.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that I'm going to do that very soon. But when I've lived 600 to 800 years, maybe I'm good. Maybe I'm good.
And unlimited funds means I can afford to do everything I want to try. And there's a lot of things I'd want to try if I could afford it.
The other reason I think it's best of both worlds on the immortality front is because it's not a singular tied to me item. It's I use it to brew something that I drink that gives me immortality. So I could also extend that to a partner, to my dog. The people in my life who I love, if they so choose, could also partake in this immortality.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Just make sure the wrong people don't figure it out and try to take it away from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that was our list. Again, not ranked, just 10 cool things that it could be cool to have be real. Could also be very dangerous to have. Which of them would you most want to exist if you could have it in real life? And why?
Or
What other items
exactly
would you have that you'd want? A favorite fantasy item that we did not include on the list, didn't mention at all. Put them down in the comments. Share your thoughts. We look forward to hearing, reading what you'd want to see real and why. That's what I have. Anything else, Zach?
I'm good.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.